Hi, this is Alan Lohman. I am so excited to share with you the materials that I have to offer. I am a social studies department chair at junior high in Richardson, and for the last 4 years, our campus has earned a distinction. And so I am so proud of my team and the materials that we have. I wanted to share them with you, so thank you for checking us out. What we came up with to develop our materials is looking at how many TEKS were in eighth grade social studies. And it's an astonishing amount, 92 TEKS. And each TEK has 10 or sometimes 15 different components within that TEK. So by the end of covering all these TEKs and all the pieces of content within it, that's over 1,000 different things that our students need to know. So that's overwhelming. What Lead Forward is trying to do and does well is tell you which TEKs are frequently tested on the STAR test. So they've kind of given you a leg up on, okay, which TEKs are our bang for our buck TEKs. But what I wanted to do is zoom in on specific TEKs and unpack them and see, okay, what are the different pieces of content within the TEK? And then within those pieces of content, have they been tested one or more times over the past 5 years, two or more times, or three or more times? And so I'm not going to tell you just which TEKs are important. I'm going to tell you content by content. The First Amendment is huge. Your kids have to know this. It's been tested 7 times over the last 5 years. The Fourth Amendment is huge. It's been tested 2 times over the last 5 years. So I can give you a highly prioritized list of the content that your students need to be successful in the STAR test. Now, when you look at pieces of content that have been tested 3 or more times, I call these the triples. They've been tested 3 or more times. That has been 62% of the STAR test over the last 5 years. And there's only 38 things that have comprised the 62% of the STAR test. And so we've taken the thousands of things that our students need to know, and we've zoomed highly in and said, okay, what do my students have to know first? What do they need to know? Walk into the STAR test knowing backwards and forwards, and it's only 38 things. So that's very relieving as a teacher. Then you come over here, there's another 27 pieces of content. I call them doubles that have been asked 2 times over the last 5 years, and that's been 22% of the STAR test. So between 65 different pieces of content, that has been 84% of the STAR test. And again, I'm not saying 65 TEKs that are overwhelming. I'm saying 65 pieces of content like the First Amendment, like the nullification crisis, like urbanization, things like that have been 84% of the STAR test. So that's awesome. Now, there is some random questions that you just can't guess because they're just randomly pulling about 16% from the thousands of things that they're supposed to know. But man, this gives you hope as a teacher saying, man, I know I can get my kids to know 65 different things. So what I've done is I've taken these 65 things and I've put them on one sheet, front and back, arranged by era. So here you can see, this is the 8th grade Social Studies STAR study sheet. Here's the exploration era. And here's the 2 pieces of content that have showed up 2 or more times over the last 5 years. So reasons for exploration, wealth, claim territory, and expand empires. Look at that definition. That's unique. Typically, as teachers, we are told we need to instruct them, go God and glory. But that's not how it's shown up on the STAR test. When you look at the STAR test questions, it said expand empires was a reason, and another reason was to claim territory. So as I've gone through and made this list of 65 things, I've tried to use the same verbiage that has been on the STAR test. And so it is not overwhelming at all. It's 1 page and half of a back page. And that is your 65 things that prioritizes for you what you need your students to know. And then you can print this off and give it to your students. Say, hey guys, these are the 65 things that we really need to make sure we know. So that is, oh man, as a teacher, that took so much off of my plate, gave me so much focus. It took the overwhelming, I don't know how I'm going to do this, and said, okay, here's my plan. Another material that I have to offer, I think is amazing. Let me zoom out real quick. This is an Excel document, and these are the eras for us that are the 2nd semester. And I'm going to click on this tab right here, and these are the eras that are from the 1st semester. Now, our team is currently in the westward expansion era. So what our team did during PLC is we pulled up this Excel sheet, we zoomed in on the westward expansion era, and we looked at lesson 1, what are the 2 things we're going to teach, and then have those things shown up on the STAR test in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. So we know day 1, what do we need to make sure our students walk out of the door knowing? Reasons for manifest destiny. And not only that, we can click, okay, in 2016, reasons for manifest destiny, that was asked twice. Interesting. Let's see how it was asked. And then here are the questions available for us to look at. Which of these was a goal shared by many advocates of manifest destiny? Occupying all of North America. And what we did is teachers said, okay, we need to start using the word occupying. That's not a word that we've typically used. Let's make sure we're talking about occupying. Okay, what else do we need to know? Okay, it was also asked, James K. Polk won the president because he was committed to fulfilling the goals of Manifest Destiny. Okay, so when we're talking about Manifest Destiny, let's say, make sure we bring up that James K. Polk won an entire election over his belief in Manifest Destiny. 2015, what was another reason for Manifest Destiny? There was rapid population growth. Interesting. Let's look at the year before. Was population growth on there too? Oh, I see right here, population growth. So this is something that we didn't teach about Manifest Destiny of why we started believing this, but population growth is big. We need to use the word occupying, and we also need to bring up James K. Polk. So not only do we just, in 1 minute, figure out what is the most important thing our students need to know, reasons for Manifest Destiny, we were able to click really quickly and just instantly see how it's been tested over the past couple years and see we need to say, all right, James K. Polk was elected because of this. We also need to bring up the word occupying. And we also need to make sure our students understand what a population boom is and how that led to Manifest Destiny. So this has been transformative for our PLCs. It's given us focus. It said, okay, when we need to talk about the westward expansion era, what are the main things they need to walk away with? Reasons for Manifest Destiny. They got to know that. The Oregon Territory, it's not shaded. That means it's a supporting standard. But even though it's a supporting standard, it's still been tested 4 times. And so we need to make sure our students know what the Oregon Territory was. The Mexican-American War has been tested 3 times. The Mexican Cession has been tested 5 times. So we need to make sure we cover the Mexican Cession and California Gold. And specifically, when we look at the California Gold Rush, it wants to know about the Chinese immigrants, the impact that it had on them. So I can click just immediately and see, okay, California goldfields, immigrants came from China. And so this is amazing just to click and really quickly see, okay, when I'm talking about the gold rush, what do I need to be emphasizing? Well, let me pull the questions up real quickly and I can see it. So I can't tell you how awesome this is as a teacher to have, knowing what do I need to be focusing on in a unit, and then specifically which words should I be using when I'm talking about it. And so then you can go to the reform era and do the same thing when the next era rolls along. What are the most important components? What are the specific ways that we need to be teaching? We just click on the question really quickly and see, okay, these are the words that they're using. Let me make sure I use this as a teacher. So why I really like this is because it's not telling you how to teach as a teacher. It's not new materials that you have to figure out, okay, how do I use this? This is overwhelming. This is just giving you guidance and focus as a teacher. It's telling you be creative. It's just telling you, okay, what do I need to focus on and which words do I need to use when I'm focusing on that? And so I know this is an important time of the year to spiral content back in. You can click on the first semester. You can look at the American Revolution era, and you can see, wow, there's not really that much that's been tested over the American Revolution era. But when I'm spiraling back in, I don't need to make sure my students remember Lexington Concord. Although it's a readiness TEK, it's never been tested before. Unalienable rights, on the other hand, wow, 4 times. I need to make sure they know that. Thomas Jefferson, ouch, never. John Hancock once, man, okay. Washington only 1 time, so it's kind of surprising when you look at this and be like, okay, what do I need to focus on? Saratoga's been asked twice, so that's something to focus on. Intolerable acts. And so this is giving you focus as a teacher. I'm starting to spiral content in from the first semester. Which are the things that I need to zoom in on? So if you have any questions at all, please, my email address is on the website. My phone number's on there too. Please don't hesitate to email me or give me a phone call. I have lots more that I do with this, but I want to try to make this somewhat short. So thank you so much for being interested, and please contact me if you have any questions. Thank y'all.